This is a jar of face mask that can turn back the clock. It can make an old, wrinkled female beast look 18 again. Addressing the beauty insecurities of the females in the tribe, she also launched a radiant moonlight whitening cream and a starry galaxy shimmer eyeshadow powder. Turns out the girl was a million-follower makeup influencer, but accidentally transmigrated into this beastman world. Recalling her ex-boyfriend's betrayal in her past life, she decided this time to trust only herself. Love? Not even dogs would bother with it. She plans to run a chain of beauty salons in the beast market and climb to the peak of her life. At this moment, Snowball, enduring the discomfort in her lungs, slowly opened her eyes. What greeted her was a pair of enlarged, glowing green, beastly pupils. She screamed in fright. Liney was startled by Snowball's sudden cry, startled and took a few steps back. The ears perked up as well. What's up with this little female? Is he really that scary looking? Snowball steadied herself only to realize it was just a black cat in front of her. It really freaked her out. She thought she'd run into some fierce beast. Except this cat was a bit bigger than the average house cat, with tufts of long fur standing straight up at the tips of its ears, a breed she'd never seen before. Snowball couldn't resist stretching out a delicate white finger and poking Lin Yi's fluffy head. Lin Yi flushed red from her sudden move. He awkwardly looked away, lowering his head a little shyly. Snowball had no clue about the awkwardness in Lin Yi's heart. After marveling at this black cat, she started scanning her surroundings. Before her eyes stretched an endless expanse of towering ancient trees. The grass and wildflowers grew lush and dense, taller than any she had ever seen. Glistening ripples drifted across the lake surface, carrying her Hermes bag and suitcase. As for his Maserati, it had probably sunk to the bottom of the lake. Snowball distinctly remembered tumbling off the cliff with both the car and herself. Yet somehow, she had inexplicably ended up in this untouched, pristine place without a single scratch on her. Snowball found it all very strange. But now wasn't the time to dwell on it. With her situation unclear, she had to secure her belongings first. With that thought, Snowball nimbly jumped into the lake, struggling to retrieve her bag and suitcase. She picked up her phone first and checked it. It wouldn't turn on, seemed waterlogged beyond repair. Was she really going to have to live like a savage now? Tossing the phone aside, Snowball opened the suitcase instead, laying out the soaked clothes one by one on the grass. Once done, her stomach growled loudly. She had no idea how long she'd been unconscious. Now, she was genuinely starving. Snowball pulled out a chocolate bread roll from her bag and began eating. Out of the corner of her eye, she noticed the black cat nearby, its unusually listless demeanor catching her attention. Upon closer inspection, she realized it was injured. The grass beneath it was stained red. She gently turned its body over, revealing a deep wound across its soft belly. What should she do now? Snowball anxiously furrowed his brows. Leaving it like this is definitely not an option. It'll die. She stood up and paced around, hoping to find some herbs to stop the bleeding. Snowball had her own beauty and skincare brand, so she was no stranger to medicinal herbs, and had some knowledge of their properties. After searching for a long time, she finally spotted a few Spica prunelli plants, tucked between the cracks of a rock. It's a creeping plant, known for its ability to stop bleeding and dissolve bruises. Snowball smiled faintly. She placed the Spica prunelli on a large rock and crushed it into a paste, then wrapped the medicinal paste in a large leaf. Next, she gently picked up Liney and carried him to the lakeside, using clean water to rinse his wound. Then, evenly spread the medicinal paste from the leaves onto Lin Yi's abdomen. A cool, refreshing sensation spread. Lin Yi widened his cat-like eyes in disbelief. Could this pretty little female actually be a veterinarian? After finishing, Snowball noticed there still seemed to be a lack of bandages. She set her sights on her own skirt. With a forceful tug, rip, Snowball tore off a strip from the hem of her skirt. Her long, slender legs were immediately exposed, making her even more alluring and captivating. Seeing that expanse of fair skin, Linyi couldn't help but gulp quietly. The little female's skin was so pale, fairer than any other female he had ever seen before. While Snowball was carefully tending to his wounds, Linyi's cat-like eyes never once strayed from her. After securing the cloth strip, Snowball even tied it into a neat little bow. Pleased with her work, she clapped her hands and stood up. Snowball picked up the half-eaten bread, tore off a piece, and held it to Linyi's mouth. "Eat up, little one." Seeing that the little female was willing to share her food with him, Linyi felt a surge of excitement. She must like him, right? He sniffed at it. He wasn't sure what it was made of, but it smelled delicious. Chomp. Linyi took the bread into his mouth and chewed slowly. To his surprise, it was really tasty. Snowball tore off another piece and fed him again. When he finished, and so, the girl and the cat. We finished the bread bite by bite. She was only half full. Given the current situation, food should still be rationed carefully. The wounds on the cat's body were clearly from the sharp claws of a beast. Who knows what dangers lurk deep in this forest? She had to be cautious. The clothes and bag had dried after being out in the sun for so long. Snowball packed everything up, zipped the suitcase shut, found a dense thicket, and hid the case inside. Snowball looked up at the towering trees blocking the sky, chose one with many branches that seemed easier to climb, and decided to sleep there tonight. She tucked the cat into the bag and slung it over her shoulder, then hugged the tree trunk with both hands and legs to climb up. After a great struggle, she finally made it. Snowball let out a deep exhale of exhaustion. The branch she chose was thick. Even two people could lie on it without issue. Snowball held Liney in her arms, leaned against the trunk, and closed her eyes. Liney licked her paws, curled into a comfortable position in Snowball's embrace, and breathed in the sweet scent from the young female. She squinted with contentment. She realized the seemingly delicate and beautiful young female knew a lot about survival. Unlike the others she'd met before, those who only relied on males for protection, she was very different. She's very smart. Also very gentle. I'm really starting to like her more and more. Night fell. A breeze brushed against her cheeks, bringing a chill. Snowball instinctively hugged the warm bundle in her arms a little tighter, noticing the little female's movement. Liney opened his eyes to look. Seeing she seemed a bit cold, he tried to radiate more warmth. But his current body was so small. The heat he could give off was limited. Awakened by the cold, Snowball turned over, then simply sat up. This tree trunk was so uncomfortable to sleep on. It made her whole body ache. She stroked the cat in her arms and lowered her head dejectedly, gazing at the endless forest around her. Her eyes filled with confusion, sensing the little female's gloom. Lin Yi rubbed his furry head against her chest. She's scared, isn't she? Seeing her look so helpless, Lin Yi's heart ached. He desperately wished his wounds would heal quickly. That way he could protect her. The little one's movements in his arms caught Snowball's attention. She knew the black cat was comforting her. At least in this unfamiliar place, she had him by her side. That's nice. She gently patted the black cat's head. Snowball let out a slow sigh. Just where is this place? Hearing Little Magnet's question, Lin Yi really wanted to tell her this was the Wasteland continent. But all that came out was a meow. Injured as he was, he couldn't transform into a beastman now. And so he couldn't communicate with Little Magnet. Amidst the birds chirping, Snowball slowly woke up. She rubbed her eyes and stretched. Then she climbed down from the tree. Staying here, waiting for doom wasn't an option. She decided to scout the area to see if she could find a way out. After slinging her bag over her shoulder, Snowball grabbed her suitcase and started walking in one direction. The forest seemed endless. Snowball had been walking for 3 days. The snacks in her bag had long run out. Now, she relied on a type of fruit she'd stumbled upon to stave off hunger. The fruit looked like a dragon fruit, but tasted like watermelon. After walking for what felt like ages, Snowball finally decided to take a break, sitting on her suitcase. She had just taken out a fruit to eat when a sudden chill ran down her spine. It felt like something was watching her from the shadows. Her heart pounding, Snowball turned to look behind her, only to find herself surrounded by a pack of wolves. With a howl from the alpha, the command was given. The wolves lunged at her fiercely. The last thread of composure in her mind snapped. In that critical moment, Snowball placed the black cat in her arms onto the tree trunk. She knew she wouldn't make it, but she hoped the cat could escape. Unexpectedly, the black cat didn't climb up the tree. Instead, it turned and leaped gracefully to the ground. Its body suddenly enlarged. The next second, Snowball felt the cat's jaws clamp onto her collar and lift her into the tree. Then, with a fierce roar, the black cat charged into the wolf pack. Snowball sat on the tree branch, still shaken, watching black cat fighting with the pack of wolves. Its speed was astonishingly fast. Only a black shadow could be seen darting back and forth among the wolf pack. In an instant, the entire wolf pack was wiped out. The elegantly built big cat stood on the grass littered with wolf corpses, then suddenly transformed into a tall, slender man. The nails on his hands abruptly lengthened. With a few swift motions, he retrieved egg-sized yellow beads from the wolf corpses and stored them in the extra-dimensional space of his ring. After finishing this, he strode gracefully toward Snowball. Snowball, who had just climbed down from the tree, hadn't even processed the fact that the black cat could grow in size. Before being shocked once more by the sight of a man appearing out of thin air, she stared nervously at the approaching man. His face and body were stained with traces of wolf blood, appearing somewhat eerie and sinister. As Snowball drew closer, she could clearly see those emerald-like pupils slightly contracting into vertical slits. Then, something even more bizarre happened. Lin Yi reached into the air and suddenly held a patch of white rabbit fur in his hand. He deftly wiped the blood off his body, then took out an animal hide and tied it around his waist. Earlier, she had seen him retrieve something bead-like from the wolf carcass, but with a flick of his hand, it vanished. She thought her eyes were playing tricks on her. Now, it was confirmed he truly had the ability to summon objects out of thin air. Where did you get that from? Pocket dimension, of course. Every beastman has one. Lin Yi grew even more puzzled. What kind of tribe had this little female been living in before? How could she not even know about a beastman's personal pocket dimension? Why are you alone in the forest? It's too dangerous for females here. Lin Yi finally asked the question that had been on his mind for days. Snowball's delicate little face flickered with confusion. After some internal deliberation, she decided to hide her origins for now. I'm not sure either. I just woke up here. What is this place? Lin Yi looked at her helpless gaze and frail figure. A pang of sympathy flashed in his eyes. If he hadn't stumbled upon her by chance, this little female would have either been devoured by wild beasts, or fallen into the hands of those shameless rogue males. He didn't even dare to imagine what would happen afterward. My name is Lin Yi, a netherworld cat beast. Currently, I don't have a mate. Will you be my female? Female? Isn't that how you refer to animals? Snowball shook her head. She had no interest in fighting with an animal. Seeing her refusal, Lin Yi was deeply upset. But he deliberately put on a tough attitude. You're the one I've found. And you're unclaimed. From now on, you're my female. Snowball didn't want to argue any more about this female mate nonsense. But this place was full of dangers, and surviving alone would be extremely difficult for him. After weighing the pros and cons, she decided to follow this beastman named Lin Yi for now. Growl. Snowball's stomach sang the song of emptiness. After running for so long, and going through all that fear and panic, she was already starving. Looking at the corpses of the wolf pack on the ground, Snowball's eyes lit up. Lin Yi, who had been observing her closely, realized she must be hungry. He immediately picked up one of the wolves, quickly skinned it, and placed it in front of Snowball. "Here, little female, eat. I'll eat after you're done." Snowball's eyes widened, her face full of disbelief. "Are you kidding? You want me to eat raw meat?" Seeing her refusal, Lin Yi was puzzled. "Is there something wrong?" "Something very wrong." Snowball sighed in frustration. "I don't eat raw meat. I want my food cooked. And I have a name. It's Snowball." Learning the little female's name, Lin Yi was overjoyed. But as Snowball wouldn't eat raw meat, what was he to do? Lin Yi blinked in confusion. Then he remembered that the females in the tribe seemed to roast their meat. As a lone beast, he rarely interacted with the tribe's females, so he wasn't very familiar with these things. He rummaged through his dimensional storage and pulled out a pair of flint stones, built a rack with some branches, and placed the wild wolf on it. A fierce flame leaped up. Accompanied by the crackling of the branches, Snowball sat to the side, chin in hand, watching Lin Yi work. The firelight made her appear even more delicate and radiant. Lin Yi gazed at her dreamily while roasting the meat. The little female grew more beautiful the longer he looked. He desperately wanted to pull her into his arms and hold her. Once the meat was fully cooked, Lin Yi tore off a wolf leg and handed it to Snowball. Snowball didn't mind the heat, took it from him, and began devouring it eagerly. The unseasoned wolf meat was surprisingly tender and flavorful. Rubbing her belly, Snowball let out a contented burp. She'd only eaten one wolf leg, so the rest naturally went into Lin Yi's stomach. He realized roasted meat was far tastier than raw. The sky had gradually darkened, and a thin mist rose in the forest. This place is very close to the central area. Some powerful beasts are currently no match for the forestry department. His green eyes darkened slightly. "This isn't safe. Let's leave here first." Snowball naturally had no objections. She was completely unfamiliar with this world. The only thing she knew was the beastmen before her, transformed from a black cat. Lin Yi stored Snowball's suitcase and bags into another dimension. Then he turned into a majestic black panther. He let Snowball climb onto his back and carried her back to his little den in the forest. By the moonlight, Snowball glanced around the cave. Aside from a pile of dry grass spread on the ground, there was nothing else. This rough, scratchy hay would definitely prick her skin painfully if she slept on it. "Do you have any larger animal hides?" Lin Yi nodded. The number of beasts he has hunted is countless. He casually saved some menace-looking fur he came across. Lin Yi took out a beautiful tiger skin from a strange space and handed it to Snowball. Snowball accepted it and spread it over the dry grass. He stroked it. It was incredibly soft and warm. This would make sleeping much more comfortable. He let out a yawn. Snowball found a corner and lay down. The moment he settled, sleepiness crashed over him like a wave. Lin Yi watched as Snowball focused entirely on himself, lying down to sleep, without the slightest intention of acknowledging him. He couldn't help but feel a little dejected. Just earlier, she had been so gentle with him, even willing to hold him close in her arms. Why was she so cold and distant now? Shaking his hair lightly, Lin Yi chose a spot close to Snowball and lay down. The faint, unique fragrance of her body drifted to his nose. Lin Yi couldn't help but move a little closer to her. Under the moonlight, her sleeping face glowed like polished jade. Her crimson lips were like newly bloomed petals, tempting one to taste them. Finally, he couldn't resist and secretly pressed a kiss to her lips. The sleeping Snowball suddenly opened her eyes at the kiss, frowning at Lin Yi. "What are you doing?" "I want to mate with you." Lin Yi stared at Snowball with darkened eyes. His expression was solemn and resolute. Mate? Did he really think she was one of the female beastmen here? She sat up, wanting to distance herself from this lust-driven beastman. But suddenly Lin Yi grabbed her, pinning her hands beneath him. The little female's body was incredibly soft. Ninjai's body tingled as if electrified, numb, and itching. He held Snowball tightly, His scorching breath came rapidly against her neck. Snowball's lips remained tightly pressed together. We've just met and don't have an emotional foundation. If you really like me, don't force me otherwise. As soon as I get the chance in the future, I will definitely leave you. Her words felt like a bucket of cold water dumped over his head. Lin Yi instantly cooled down. What he wanted was the little female's willingness. No emotional foundation could be slowly built over time. Thinking this, Lin Yi rolled over and lay on his side. He struggled to suppress the fire burning inside him. Snowball found a spot as far from Lin Yi as possible, turning her back to him and curling into a ball. At dawn, Snowball woke in a soft, warm embrace. She bolted upright and left the grassy bedding. The sudden movement woke the big cat, sleeping soundly beside her. Lin Yi shifted into human form, blinking his bleary eyes. You're awake. Why not sleep a little longer? Snowball shot him a glance. I'm going to bathe. Pulling out a change of clothes and toiletries from the leather trunk, Snowball walked out of the cave. Seeing this, Lin Yi got up and followed her. Leading her to the riverside, Snowball watched the little fish darting through the stream, her eyes gleaming. She was craving grilled fish. Lin Yi caught her intention. I'll catch a few fish. We'll have grilled fish today. As a feline, he naturally loved fish too. The little female's preferences aligning with his made him feel the distance between them had narrowed slightly. Lin Yi agilely leaped into the stream, quickly grabbed a few plump watibits and tossed them ashore. Snowball noticed that Forestry was very attentive and considerate towards him. Forget about partner sand mating and all that. It is very willing to be friends with it. The Forestry department was grilling fish by the stream. The Snowball was behind a few large rocks, quickly took a shower. No soap. No laundry detergent. The dirty clothes she took off could only be washed with plain water as a make-do solution. I don't know if this world has tree making. If she might make some soap to use. When doing laundry, Snowball's sharp eye spotted it in the thick grass. Discovered a long, red chili pepper. The aroma of the grilled fish wafted over at that moment. They say a focused man is the most attractive. Snowball had to admit. Lin Yi's face is still quite a sight to behold. It's just a shame that she, having just been hurt in love, no longer wants to trust men. Put away these messy thoughts. Snowball took out a few chili peppers and handed them to Forestry, telling him to crush them and sprinkle them on the fish meat. What is this? Forestry's fair and handsome face was covered in confusion. This is chili pepper. Is a condiment. Can eat. Seeing her full of certainty, Lin Yi didn't say anything more. No big deal, let him try first. No problem, then give it to the little female eat. Lin Yi placed the chili pepper in the palm of his hand and squeezed it. Turned into powder, then spread evenly. It was sprinkled in the grilled fish. Soon, the wonderful aroma wafted out. Lin Yi felt his nose itching. I couldn't help but let out a huge sneeze. Carefully inched backward a little. At this point, Snowball couldn't hold back his drool anymore. She took a grilled fish and took a big bite. The meat is tender and incredibly delicious. The Snowball enjoyed squinting his eyes at the Forestry. Try it. It's really delicious. If there's salt, that will be even better. Upon hearing this, Lin Yi raised an eyebrow. Salty much? But over in the distant seas, there. It's very scarce here. It's all the beastman's whapping back. If you want it, I'll go get it back. Saying, Lin Yi also grabbed a grilled fish and stuffed it into his mouth. The moment it enters your mouth, green pupils filled with shock. How can it be so delicious? Looking at, Forestry looks like a clueless cutie who just discovered a new world. Snowball couldn't help but chuckle. A delicious grilled fish feast. The two of them ate with great relish and satisfaction. Thinking of what Forestry just mentioned about the sea area, Snowball gazed at him with her beautiful eyes. Where is that sea area located? How far is it from here? Being stared at by the little lady I like. My heart skipped a beat in the forest. You wanna go? At my pace, it'll take about a year, and bringing her along will probably take even longer. I don't want to go to the sea area. I want to go see what's outside this forest. The conditions here are so shabby. You can't just stay here forever, right? After listening Tohat Snowball said. Forestry thought it over carefully. Indeed so. If you go hunting alone, what if she's in danger? The 9 nether cat beast clan prefers to keep to themselves. So from a very young age, have ventured out into the world alone. I have never joined any tribe either. But now, for the safety of the little female, it's time for him to choose a side. However, Lin Yi looked at Snowball's bizarre and outlandish outfit. We can choose to live in a tribe. The tribe is saffron more stable. But the clothes you're wearing are rather weird. Gotta change them. Weird. Snowball looked down at her skirt. Took another glance at Forestry's animal hides. Alright, compared like this, she does seem a bit out of place. Snowball frowned. But I don't have any other clothes left. Lam Yip smiled and tilted his chin up. I'll just make one for you, no problem. He took out a thin, soft green snakeskin from another dimension. Took a glance at Snowball. As if confirming its size, then used sharp nails to slit open the animal hide. Then, using an ancient needle and silk thread of the same color, she began to sew. Snowball looked at the long, slender guzzing in Lin Yi's hands. Listened to him say it's some kind of fishbone from a sea fish. Very hard and sharp. As for that thread, it's actually silk spun by a spider. All colors are available. And it's also incredible and durable. The forestry department is doing a very thorough job. The hand speed is also fast. In a jiffy, a tube top is all done. The Snowball sat down beside him. No matter how I look at it, it just seems. At this moment, Lin Yi is very much like a virtuous little wife. His cool facet doesn't match at all. Because of her closeness, Lin Yi's shirtbeat couldn't help but quicken a bit. But the movements in his hands didn't stop. Soon, a fur skirt was also sewn. Let me see if it fits you. The forestry worker handed Thelly their skirt and tube top to Snowball. Green eyes filled with anticipation. Snowball was thrilled to see the freshly made fur coat. I walked into the cave and quickly changed my outfit. The size is just right. And this snakeskin is incredibly soft and breathable when worn. Much better than her underwear. And the scales on the surface shimmer under the sunlight, twinkling and sparkling, so very beautiful. When Snowball walked out of the cave, Lin Yi's eyes were glued to it. It's really so beautiful. Snowball noticed Lin Yi staring blankly at her. Waved my little hand in front of his face. She knew she was beautiful, but being stared at so blatantly by a man. Still feeling a bit uneasy, Lin Yi swallowed hard, his throat bobbing slightly. A certain part of Thebity feels a bit tight. He couldn't bear to take his eyes off Snowball. Pack up all your stuff. The two of them were getting ready to set out in search of a tribe they could join. Snowball also let for Stripic more chili peppers. Put it into another dimension. Save it for later. Out of the woods. We've walked a long way again. The Snowball barely caught a glimpse of what lay ahead. Something like a wall or fence. The fence is made of wooden pickets. Inside the fence are unevenly spaced, varying height food items. The ORCs, who were originally busy with their own affairs, upon seeing the approaching Snowball, everyone was dumbfounded. When have they ever seen such a beautiful female? Absolutely beyond imagination, looking at so many males. A gaze as fierce as a wolf or tiger. The gazes were all fixed on the little female in unison. Forestry is not happy. He let out a low, menacing growl. Transforming into a beastman, his towering figure completely engulfed the Snowball in his shadow. An overwhelming press emanated. Those male orcs finally noticed Lin Yi. I found out he's actually a 3-star beastman. And it's still that damned 9 shadow cat beast. At the moment, every Anu is somewhat shocked. Seeing them show fearful expressions, The forestry department is extremely satisfied. I want to join your tribe. No problem, right? This is for the team leader to decide. An alien beastman finished speaking and then transformed into his beast form. He quickly went to inform their team leader. Not long after, then saw an even more muscular ORC. They walked toward Lin Yi and the others. His name is Kuru. Is a 2-star ORC. He is the strongest in this tribe. Kuru looked at Lin Yi with a face full of enthusiasm. Would you Lakato join our tribe? That's really great. A beastman with formidable strength is a rare find. And the 9-nether cat beast possesses formidable strength capable of challenging opponents above one's level. In this area, they're just a small tribe. If forestry gets involved, their tribe can level up again. The 9-nether cat beast is enigmatic and elusive. Regarding his joining, Ku was happy, yet surprised at the same time. But when he saw Thief Male behind Lin Yi, he got it. It turns out everything was for the sake of the partner's safety. The addition of Forestry and Snowball received a warm welcome from all the ORCs in the tribe. After all, the forestry industry is incredibly powerful. And Snowball, being precious and rare, and a female who is also so beautiful in appearance, it was especially popular among the male beastmen. As long as it's a beastman who hasn't made it, there's a chance to become her beast husband. The male beastman cheered with joy, eyes gleaming at the Snowball. Lin Yi swept a sharp gaze around. The male ORCs around. This is my girl. Don't you dare lay a finger on her. The aura of a high-ranking orc emanates powerfully. The male beastmen all took a few steps back together. But the furtive glances never ceased. The Snowball faced dozens of wolfish, predatory stares. A little scared, she instinctively shrank behind Lin Yi. Noticing her movements, Lin Yi took the opportunity to domineeringly wrap his arm around her slender waist and secretly gave a squeeze. This time, Snowball didn't push him away. She felt like she had shaken off the idea of forestry. Got to put it on hold for now. Kuru assigned Theme an empty stone house. This stone house is quite spacious. Soft hay is spread in the corner. There is also a stone pot and a few stone bowls. Lin Yi followed Kuru out of the stone house to discuss some matters. Snowball simply tittied up the house a bit. After finishing up, I saw him Yip still hadn't come back. It's a bit boring. She walked out of the stone house intending to casually stroll around the tribe. Walking along a sparkling little river, she saw several female ORCs chattering away over there. The female ORCs of this world. She was still very curious. Now, I finally get to see it. But when they got a clear look at their faces, Snowball was so shocked that his eyes nearly popped out of his head. These female orcs have dark skin. Keep scrolling down to check out their figures. No wonder those male orcs light up when they see her. The same race. The difference between men and women is so huge. Snowball can't even imagine. Those handsome male beastmen. The moments spent with them. Hey, are you the new girl? At that moment, the female by their reverse side saw Snowball and shouted at her. Snowball snapped out of it, walking straight towards them. A friendly smile appeared. Hello, my name is Snowball. When the females by the riverside saw Snowball's appearance, they were so shocked their jaws dropped. Turns out females can this beautiful too. Take another look at your own dark, dry skin. Suddenly felt a bit ashamed of my own inadequacy. Can't help but feel a pang of bitterness in my heart. Snowball discovers. These female ORCs, all gathered around a female in the center, implicitly regarding him as the most respected. Looks like this female holds a high status in this tribe. His skin is a wheatish tone. High nose bridge. Looks a bit better than the other females. At first glance of Snowball, Laura's face turned extremely unpleasant. He had always thought, not only am I the most beautiful female in this tribe, even the nearby tribes, not a single female can compare to me. But now, this female hoe came out of nowhere. So beautiful, it's beyond words. Especially when seeing Snowball wearing, after the exquisite and beautiful snakeskin dress, a deep shade of jealousy lashed in Laura's eyes. Such a huge snakeskin. At least it's a total beast. This proves his partner is a powerful beastman with formidable strength. Why should the female in front be prettier than him? The partner is even stronger than his. As the most popular in the tribe, the female has several alien beast husbands, and the strongest horse in this tribe, Chief Kuru. It's also my own damn husband. Lola has always had a sense of superiority. But now, he was overshadowed by this new female. Lola felt a surge of anger in her chest. Can't swallow it no matter what. He raised his chin. An arrogant attitude. The eyes glanced sideways at Snowball with a slanting look. Are all the female shear so unfriendly? The Snowball was momentarily bewildered. He doesn't seem to have offended him, does he? Look at that female, so plain looking, yet arrogantly acts like she's the most stunning beauty in the world. Snowball couldn't help but find it a bit amusing. He felt like Snowball was mocking him. Laura couldn't help but flush with anger. What are you laughing at? What are you doing here? Snowball was just about to answer, but he heard Lin Yi calling him. He turned around, looking at the approaching forestry. I'm bored staying in the house. Just came out to take a look. And when Laura met Lin Yi, a pair of narrow, smiles suddenly widened. Laura felt like she fell in love with him at first sight. He approached the forestry area. She flashed what she thought was the most dazzling smile. My name is Laura. Do you want to be me beast husband? Regarding Laura's sudden confession of love, the response from the four-stride parent was to ignore it. He didn't even glance at Laura. Go straight to Snowball's side. Hold her hand. Eyes of green, brimming with tenderness. Let's go back. Snowball nodded. Following the forestry industry went. Those females don't welcome me. And for some inexplicable reason, they have hostility toward me. Can't have a pleasant chat together. He doesn't want to stay anymore either. Thoroughly neglected Laura. I feel humiliated. As the most beautiful female in the tribe, he never imagined that any beastman would refuse him. Noticing the gaze of other females, feeling utterly humiliated, Laura stomped her foot in anger, swaggered away with a swaying butt. At night, the tribe held all come for forestry and Snowball. Ceremonial ball discovered. The female orcs and male ORCs here. The ratio is severely imbalanced. This tribe has roughly 300 male ORCs, while there are only 10 females. No wonder the females here act so high and mighty. The queen's look. So that's why rarity increases value. On the bonfire in front of Snowball and forestry, riding a wild boar. At this point, the meat outside had turned a crispy golden brown. Lin Yi took out some chili powder and sprinkled it on. A peculiar meaty aroma wafted through the air, drew the attention of the other ORCs. Lin Yi tore off a piece of roasted wild boar meat and handed it to Snowball. Snowball took it and gently took a small bite. His large eyes with slightly turned corners narrowed. So delicious to see him eating so happily. Lin Yi was in a very cheerful mood. Lola had been keeping an eye on them. Looking at Lin Yi gazing at the Snowball, that gentle, doting look made him burn with anger. The aroma wafting over, Lola suddenly felt the meat was chewing in her mouth. Lost its flavor. Dry as hell, not tasty at all. Why does he get to it delicious meat, and can't get a taste of it themselves? How outrageous. Looking at Snowball's stunningly beautiful little face, Lola is so damn annoying. The moment he arrived, he stole the show. Blamed Kuru for letting this female join the tribe. He glared angrily at Kuru, angrily threw the meat on the ground, got up and left this place. At that moment, a petted female sat down next to Snowball. She shyly smiled. Say hi to Snowball for me. My name is Chonkian. What did you sprinkle in this barbecue? So fragrant. Chonkian gazed longingly at roast pork over the fire. This is called chili powder, is a condiment. Snowball signaled to Forestry to tear off another piece of wild boar meat. Lin Yi reluctantly tore off a small piece of meat, gave it to Chonkian. I find this bitch who came to snatch food so damn annoying. Chung Chung happily took it. Plump and juicy, dripping with oil, the wild boar meat. Couldn't wait and took a bite. Then his eyes widened in an instant. This is so freaking delicious. This spicy sensation was something he had never experienced before. It's so delicious I can't practically swallow my tongue. In no time, he polished off a piece of meat. But he was too embarrassed to ask for it again. Seeing his embarrassment, Snowball brought him another piece of meat. Chonkian blushed slightly. I'm so jealous of you. Actually found a nether cat beast as a partner. Snowball looked puzzled. What's up with them? A Rethi special or something? Of course, they are mysterious and powerful. Is the dream partner every woman desires. However, they are elusive, limited in quantity, hard to come across, and they have 9 lives. If you form a partnership with him, you can share a life together. Chonkian had that how could you not know this look. With a face looking at the Snowball. Alright, Snowball feels like they've learned something new again. So there really are 9 livid cat demons in this world after all. He gazed at the Forestry under the dim, flickering firelight. That handsome face. Every detail is exquisite. Turns out, he's so popular. The Forestry noticed Snowball was watching him. Immediately gave him a dazzlingly bright smile. The 2 little fangsand dimples showing. Got totally melted by the cuteness. After eating and drinking to her heart's content, Chonkian swallowed the last bite of grilled meat. If you're free, you can come hang out with me. The place I live isn't far from your food. The third one from the back is. Snowball smiled softly. Sure, I'll come find you when I'm free. A barbecue meal is a lit takes to make a friend. He was still very happy. This welcome ceremony held for them. It didn't wrap up until the wee hours. Back to the food. The 2 of them lay quietly on the animal hide. Snowball turned his back on Forestry. Soon fell fast asleep. And Lin Yi looked at his lower body, helplessly enduring restlessness and sleepless. In the morning, Snowball was woken up by the mouth-watering aroma of grilled meat. Damn, it's freezing outside. He saw Lin Yi grilling meat in the open space by the door. From the moment they opened the door, Lin Yi's gaze was glued to Snowball, often stared at with shadering eyes by Lin Yi. Snowball has gotten used to it. This deerskin looks pretty nice. Can make deerskin boots. Snowball pointed at the deer hide wrapped up on the ground. Of course, Lin Yi had no idea what deerskin boots were. He had only seen the beast skin shoes worn by the females. After being described by Snowball in detail, he only had a rough outline. Regarding his request, the Forestry sector has always been responsive to every request. He hopes to perform better. How to make Snowball like me quickly, although he is living with me now. But Lin Yi always felt insecure. He's terrified that Snowball might leave him at any moment. After breakfast, Forestry should follow the beastmen in the tribe. Let's go hunting. Snowball wandered aimlessly around the stone house, bored out of his mind. Looking at the tall trees not far away, he pondered it. The living conditions here are really too shabby, even if it's covered with animal hides. Sleeping on a pile of hay every day is still uncomfortable. Looking at the empty stone house, he thinks it's worth a try to make a wooden bed by himself. Make some furniture, under limited conditions. He also has to try his best to make himself comfortable. If there isn't any, create it yourself. Living such a rough life, not like him. Dusk. The sunset burned the sky red. The Forestry hunting team is back. The setting sun stretched its shadow long and thin. Under the light and shadow, he smiled and presented it like a treasure. From another dimension, he brought out a bamboo tube filled with white powder. Pass it to Snowball. Here's the salt powder you asked for. I got it back for you. See the salt powder. Snowball was overjoyed. He looked into the bamboo tube. The salt in this world compared to modern times. The particles are just a bit larger. There are no other impurities inside. Very clean, thank you. Lam Yuk Siut knows. Lin Yi is really good to himself. And it's unconditional too. But he couldn't give him what he wanted. I couldn't help but feel a bit strange inside. I feel a bit guilty. Maybe he can try to accept it. Forestry didn't tell Snowball. This is what he got with 50 orange cores, exchanged with people from the big tribe. In the beast world, this is no small expense. But right now, seeing his smiling face, he felt like everything was worth it. You never have to say thank you to me. He had a look of deep affection on his face. The affection in their eyes seems almost overflowing. Snowball coughed awkwardly. Quickly changed the subject. He came up with the idea of making himself a wooden bed. I told Lin Yi. On the ground, they drew the shape of a bed with a branch. After explaining it again in detail, when Lin Yi almost understood, they started to take action. But there's no axe or anything like that. How to chop down a tree? Just getting started. Snowball ran into a problem. However, he still underestimated Lin Yi. Only to see his long and powerful legs slightly squat down. Hold the tree trunk with both hands. With just one strong pull, he uprooted the entire tree. His palm lifted up. A karate chop straight down. The thick tree trunk was split in two. It's even smoother than a machine cut. Copy the way Snowball looks. Lin Yi was completely absorbed in fiddling with the piece of wood in his hands. Looking at the final result, Snowball couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. Forestry is really so skillful and dexterous. Got it in one. The wooden bed is ready. Following Snowball's instructions, the four-stride parent has started building the wardrobe again. These days, apart from occasionally going out hunting, he crafted various objects according to Snowball's requests. Wooden basin, wooden bowl, table and chairs forating with chopsticks. And there's also a wooden tub for bathing, because it's inconvenient. Before, snowballs were always held with a very large leaf to contain water. Come back and give yourself a quick wash. Now, we've got the bucket. He can take a nice, relaxing bath then. Forestry followed his instructions, and even made a dressing table. It was simply carved with some decorative patterns on top. It has a rather quaint and vintage feel to it. Snowball took out all her cosmetics, all laid out on the dressing table. Looking at the furniture rearranged in the house, Snowball was quite satisfied. This finally looks a bit more like a proper home. And he also discovered a brownish-red plastic. Can replace paint. Snowball and Forestry in the wooden bed. The wooden cabinet and dressing table were both coated with a layer. Looking at it this way, apart from the design being a bit simple, there's hardly any difference from modern furniture anymore. Snowball happily clapped her hands. Actually, he wanted to make 2 wooden beds, separate beds with Lin Yek. But he absolutely refused. Snowball had no choice but to compromise. After all, in Thyssen family are beast of a market. The only one he's familiar with. The first one I met was him. If we really can't go back in the future, I want to live here forever. Rather than accept another ORC, he felt it would be better to just accept Forestry. I don't actually dislike him that much. At night, a light rain began to patter down. Snowball laid several thick layers of animal hides on the bed. He even rolled up toe pillows with animal hides. In this chilly weather, lying in bed doesn't feel cold at all. Still warm, comfortable, and cozy. The Snowball couldn't help but roll around on the bed. Forestry looked at his satirable little face. Pleasant turned into beastly. He licked the Snowball all over with his big, slobbery tongue. Ouch! That hurts. How could this happen? Lin Yi widened his eyes in surprise and looked at his face. The fair, delicate little face was now flushed red. Forrest couldn't help but blame himself, his heart aching. I'm already being so gentle. But he still got hurt. You could see the heartache overfull in those green, beastly eyes. Snowball pretended not to care and waved it off. It'll be fine in a bit, just don't suck up to me anymore. Scraped by your tongue. That really hurts for a moment. Forestry guiltily pointed at himself. Fluffy big head. Snowball looked at him like this. Looks so adorably silly. At this moment, Lin Ye transforms into a beastly form. It's basically just a bigger version of a black cat. He reached out and stroked Lin Yi's chin. Immediately, he let out a contented, purring sound, as if thoroughly enjoying himself. The two of them played around in roughhouse for a while before finally going to bed. Lin Yi lay on his side and pulled Snowball into his embrace, paws resting on him. He likes being this close with him. Take it as your own. Hugged a huge plush toy, leaning against this warm embrace. Sweetly drifted into dreamland. The morning sun feels warm on my body. The air is even fresher and more pleasant after the rain. Snowball thought about taking a walk behind the food. Morning jog. Ran a few laps around the food. From afar, I spotted Kyankian's figure. Snowball raised an arm and waved. Hey, what are you doing here all by yourself? Nothing to do. After finishing the meal, just take a casual stroll here. Move around. I see. Then come with me to the flower field behind the tribe. The females in the tribal go there to hang out. Very pretty. Snowball figured he had nothing better to do anyway. Why not follow Chantan around for a stroll? Get more familiar with the tribe. The two of them walked together toward the back of the tribe. When we finally reached the sea-off flowers Chonkian had mentioned. At first glance, Snowball. Countless flowers bloom vibrantly under the morning sun. A faint, lingering fragrance wafted through the air. Enchanting. In this sea of flowers, many roses are blooming. Lilies and roses. These are all materials that can be used to make perfumes and cosmetics. She plucked a red rose, held it under Thenos and took a sniff. The aroma is very rich. And it doesn't have a strong smell. He doesn't have much of those cosmetics left. When it's used up, there won't be any left to use. Now, you can use the rose here to make a few things. Grow lipsticks and skincare products. The two of them walked toward the center of the flower field. Yet little did they know, amidst the lily blossoms not far away, saw Laura and the others. Lola is also wearing a green snakeskin skirt today. However, his snakeskin skirt was very small. The scales on the snakeskin aren't that bright and smooth either. On top, there was just a tiny tube top. The skirt below barely covers the butt. Snowball also found out. He imitated her and braided his own hair into a pigtail too. Because my hair is too long, already hanging down to the waist, wearing it is very inconvenient. So Snowball braided her hair. Lola saw Snowball and Kyankian also came here. With a disdainful look, she rolled her eyes at them. They dragged those women away, as if they were some kind-of dirty or unclean things. Hatred for no damn reason. Snowball felt speechless. Don't pay attention to Laura. He's always acting so full of himself. Always acting like you're so damn great. Snowball nodded in agreement. He's come across plenty of such self-centered people. The two of them strolled casually among the flowers. Let's walk and talk. From time to time, pluck some beautiful flowers. Snowball made a flower crown and gave it to Chonkian. Looking at this beautiful wreath, Chonkian took it with a delighted expression and put it on her head, jumping for joy and spinning in place. The carefree smile of the girl before him infected Snowball with joy. He also let loose, playing in Kazangarand with Chonkian. Tired from playing, the two of them lay down among the flowers to rest. All the fruits in the bamboo basket have been eaten up. When it's almost time to rest, the two continued walking toward the back of the flower field. What Snowball didn't expect was, this place really is tree planting. It's not just one. There were about a dozen or so. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up. Can you lend me the basket, Chonkian? You like this basket? Take it, it's yours now. Reveled a beaming smile. Take the basket. Happily walking under the tree, she started picking soap leaves. Chonkian saw him picking these leaves, also took the initiative to lend a hand, until the bamboo basket was full. The two finally stopped. It's already noon. The sun is scorching hot. They spent the whole morning in the sea of flowers. Snowball carried the basket with her left hand, holding a bouquet of roses in the right hand. Chonkian helped out. I picked up a few lilies and roses. For Snowball to pick these leaves, Chonkian was full of confusion. What's the use of picking so many leaves? Snowball looked mysterious and said, you'll find out in a few days. Returned to the stone house where Snowball lived. Gradually, putting down the flowers in hand, said goodbye to him, went back to his own home. These days, because Snowball clearly lost interest in the barbecue, Lin Yi specifically found some other food for him. Apart from all kinds of fruits, some things he found special would also be brought back. Among them, the Snowball discovered crops like sweet potatoes and soybeans. Find that handful of beans, soak it in a wooden basin. Snowball went to their riverside with the basket again. Wash the harvested soap pods clean. Leave it in the sun to dry. When the soap berries are almost dry, Snowball stacked the soap pods layer by layer from the bottom up. Neatly and orderly, packed tight. Put it in the stone pot. Make sure there are no gaps in between. He doesn't have any other tools right now. I can only use a stone pot as a temporary container for now. The ancient blade specially crafted for him by the forestry department. Snowball first cut the zoaperies into small pieces. After adding rose petals, they begin pounding with a wooden stick until it's mashed into a paste-like consistency. Messed around for a while. His hand was extremely sore. And I'm hungry too. I looked up at the sky. The sun is almost setting now. Before you know it, he was busy all afternoon. I've been doing manual labor for so long. For a moment, he was also sweating profusely from exhaustion. Put down the wooden stick in your hand. Stretched out the stiff and sore wrist. I don't know the reason today. Forestry hunting hasn't come back yet. He had no choice but to cook for himself, to fill his stomach. There's not much food left at home. Only a few sweet potatoes left. Wipe the sweat off me head with the tissue. The Snowball gathered sundry firewood from around. At the door, he lit a fire with a flint. He took out a few sweet potatoes and put them into the fire. After doing all this, the Snowball kept stirring the zoaperies in the stone pot again. When the sweet aroma of sweet potatoes wafts through the air, he's pretty much done for. The rice leaves are ready, very delicate. Pull the roasted sweet potatoes out of the fire. Wait until it's not so hot. Snowball peeled the sweet potato skin and started eating. Wait until he finishes the sweet potato. Lin Yakai is back. From afar, I saw those male ORCs carrying a lot of prey. Just knew today would be a fruitful day. After receiving his portion of food, make up for it big time. I came back late today. I wonder if Snowball has gone hungry. Wait until you see Theban fire lit at the entrance, and the sweet potato skins scattered on the ground. It seems Snowball has already eaten. In the beast room, let thief males make their own fire and cook. Even go hungry. That proves this beast of a husband is unqualified. He felt a bit guilty. Do you want to eat something else? I'll do it right away. No need. Snowball mumbled a vague reply to him. No, he's a neat freak. Take a shower every day. I rushed to the river in the dead of night with a wooden bucket, filled it with water, and hurried back, just about to pour it into the stone pot to heat up. But found a pile of mushy stuff in the stone pot. What's in this pot? Mind your own business. Anyway, I find it useful. By the way, can you help me crush these beans? Snowball brought out the beans that had been soaking in the wooden basin for a while. He's messing around with things she doesn't understand again. Forestry misses the past. Snowball must be living in a mysterious world. The mighty tribe within. In life, he's always so meticulous in every detail. You can tell at a glance, and he also knows a lot that the Bastmen here don't understand. Lin Yi watched the beans in the wooden basin sprout rapidly. The beans turned into powder. Snowball mixes the soybean powder in a certain ratio. Pour the soap solution into the stone pot. Stir well with a wooden stick. He had the forestry department make a few small oval wooden boxes again. The hands of Chut Layip are very skillful. It didn't take long before the wooden box was finished. Snowball poured the soap solution one by one into the wooden box, set it aside to let it dry. The moon is very big tonight. It coated the food with a layer of glow. Forestry from the other beastmen in the tribe. Here comes an even bigger stone pot. The bathwater is ready for him. The steam from the hot water flushed Snowball's skin red. Sitting in a wooden barrel, he couldn't help but let out a pleasurable sigh. In the bucket, he also placed many lily petals. The forestry department is guarding outside the door. Listening to the seductive sound of water coming from inside the house, his throat just felt dry. It feels like a blazing fire is raging inside my body. Eager to find a breakthrough, stood stiffly for a while. He suddenly stood up, rushed to the riverside. With a plop, he jumped into the cool, shimmering river water. The icy river water dispelled the heat within the body. But just at this moment, a pair of arms quietly wrapped my arms around her toned waist. Lin Yi suddenly opened his eyes wide. He yanked the person behind him forcefully to the front. Right now I'm burning with desire. Someone was approaching and I didn't even notice. It hurts, let go of me, quickly. Lola screamed in pain. He felt like his wrist was about to break. Upon hearing this, Liney finally shook him off. He glared at Laura with a dark expression. What do you want to do? Lola rubbed her sore wrist, gazing affectionately at Lin Yi. Why should you force yourself to suffer, Lin Yi? I'm willing to mate with you. As long as you're willing to be my beast husband. I promise you. After the heat is over, I'll have a litter of pups for you. Facing the incredible lionsome figure before me. Powerful ORC. He patiently tried to talk him down. When a female is willing to have babies with a male, that is such an incredible honor. Lola thought it was impossible for him to reject her again. And he had been observing for many days. It turned out Snowball didn't mate with him. It doesn't even count as his woman. And the result is bound to disappoint him. Lin Yi's gaze was icy as he looked at the female before him, wearing a mocking expression. Just you? Not even a single toe off me, Snowball can compare. With a disdain fulgence at Laura, Lin Yi shook his wet hair, turned around and stride away with cool confidence. Only left Laura with a heartless back view. Laura was so angry her eyes turned red with hatred, gritting their teeth until they creaked. Another Snowball. What exactly does Helic compared to him? Bitch, bitch. He forcefully slapped the water with both hands. I drenched myself from head to toe in cold water, looking like a total mess, just like a crazy woman. Laura couldn't take it anymore, burst into tears of grievance. Laura, why are you standing in the river? You'll catch a cold. The one speaking now is Dick, is an alien beastman. It's been a few years since they got together with Laura. Among the Severalbiest husbands, he wasn't exact Laura's favorite. He doesn't ask for too much. I've been trying so hard to please Laura. I just hope to have me own little one. That's enough. Dick's care and heartache. What came next was Laura's fierce slap across the face. Dick got slapped a bit too hard. One slap wasn't enough. Lola slapped several more times in a row, venting the frustration I got from the forestry department. All of it spilled on Dick. The sound of clapping. In this quiet night, it appears exceptionally clear. Until the mountain spospum goes numb. Lola finally stopped, turned around and quickly run toward home. Made him the punching bag Dick, standing alone by the river in silence. eyes filled with sorrow and disappointment. There was also an indescribable sense of humiliation.